Hi, and welcome back to Pinky Boo Hauntings. I'm your witchy host, Shy, and I'll be your guide to all things paranormal, weird, and spooky. So, before we get on to the stories, I wanted to talk to y'all real quick. With us getting really close to the 20th episode of the podcast as a whole, I wanted to ask, how are you liking things? Is there any themes you would like me to do? Or do you have any paranormal stories you'd like me to look into? I have some ideas for deep dives coming up, but I do want to hear from you as well. This is a coven for all of us, after all. And as much as I like just talking about the paranormal, I want you all to be a part of this as well. So tell me your thoughts. Give me your ideas on ways I could improve and on what you would like me to cover. All right, let's get on to the good stuff. Our first story is Encounter with a Dead Spirit. That title sounds so redundant. I know not all spirits are beings that died, but it's still a crazy way to word this, at least to me. This is my uncle's story. They live in a large farmland area. The layout is such that each farm has only one house, owned by the landowner, and the neighboring farms also have their own separate houses. The distance between each house is at least 1 to 1.5 kilometers. Everyone in the area was friendly with one another, and my uncle was close to a man from a neighboring farm. Let's call him M. They were also distantly related through the family tree. So you could say they were distant cousins, as well as good friends. One strong bonding factor between them was the habit of drinking. They were regular drinking partners. However, M was on a completely different level. He was younger than my uncle, but his drinking capacity was unbelievable. He was drunk almost all of the time. His family had given up on him. That's unfortunate. I've seen what alcoholism can do to a person, and that shit isn't pretty. I don't even drink because I never want to take that chance of falling into that bad habit. It's just not worth it. So one day, M didn't return home. At first, no one was worried. Everyone assumed he might have passed out somewhere, as this was common for him. That's honestly sad that he's that bad off. His family doesn't even think twice that he's probably passed out somewhere. And the fact that they are so used to his behavior that they aren't worried is just so sad. His family was used to this behavior, but days passed with no sign of him and no contact. That's when they became concerned and started searching for him. Eventually, they found his dead body in a canal beside the highway. His body was severely damaged and decomposed. It appeared that he had been hit by a vehicle on the highway and had fallen into the canal. His body had remained there for several days before villagers noticed. It was a tragic death. Even if he was drunk, this is such a sad and awful way to die. No one deserves this. Now, the real incident begins here. For context, before M's death, my uncle and M had bought a pair of identical shirts together, one for my uncle and one for M. The shirts were expensive and meant to be worn at special occasions like weddings or parties. A few months after M's death, during winter, my uncle had to attend a wedding far from his home, and he wore the same shirt. After the wedding, he was returning home late at night. He got down at the highway and had to walk through the farmland to reach his house. There were no homes within a 1 kilometer radius. It was almost completely dark. with only moonlight to guide the way. While this might sound terrifying, it was normal for them, as they had grown up in such conditions. My uncle had to walk about 3 to 5 kilometers to reach home. On the way, he had to cross a bridge over a canal at an intersection. As he was crossing the bridge, he suddenly heard a laugh. When he looked around, he saw M's spirit standing there, looking at him and saying, "Oh, so you're wearing our shirt." My uncle got so terrified that, without thinking, he ran as fast as he could towards his home. He ran like a madman for 3 to 4 kilometers straight. By the time he reached home, he was fully drenched in sweat and completely exhausted. I'm not gonna lie, that's the most valid response ever. He'd definitely survive a horror movie. His family saw his condition and asked what had happened. But without saying a word, my uncle ripped off his shirt and set it on fire as soon as he reached home. What? No! Why would you set it on fire? And only after that did he tell them everything that he saw. And you know what's more terrifying? M's spirit was seen by M's other family members as well, on the same bridge. Oh my god, poor M. He just wanted to visit his friend and give him a hard time. Instead, he scared the shit out of him so badly he got rid of their shirt. I bet M felt bad about that, 'cause it was clear it was supposed to be a good visit and he wasn't trying to scare your uncle. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he was trying to come back to maybe let everyone know he was okay and maybe make amends. 'Cause let's face it, his alcoholism did hurt people, so I'm sure he wanted to ease that pain a little. I've got no easy way to transition to the next story, so let's get on to it. It's called Very Strange Encounter When I Was a Kid. That's right, we're going from one weird encounter to another. I think our last one is a weird encounter too. So, yay for accidental theming, I guess. Though, I guess you could say that about any encounter with the paranormal, huh? They're all a little weird, after all. Hello, guys. I have been sitting on this story for a lot of years now, and still, I remember it clear as day. It must have been around 2007 or 2008 in Berlin, Germany. My brother, about 8 or 9 at the time, and me, about 5 or 6 at the time, used to do sleepovers in each other's rooms. This time, I took my mattress to his room and placed it next to his bed, and we did our sleepover. We played Nintendo, told each other jokes, and stupid stories. And then, in the middle of the night, I'd say anything between 12 to 2 a.m., I look into our hallway, which is basically a large room connecting all other rooms, in front of the kitchen. I saw a blonde woman in a red dress. It was a sparkly dress. I asked my brother, "Are you seeing this too?" He leaned over, looked at it for a brief while, and said, "Yes." We kept looking. A man in a suit joined her, stepping out of the kitchen, and handed her a glass of wine. Now, the odd part is that they had no facial features. Their skin and faces were just black voids. The odder thing is, I don't recall being scared. I'm sorry, how could you not be scared? If for nothing else, why aren't you scared that someone's in your house? Even if their skin and faces were voids. I was very interested in their presence. They didn't acknowledge us at all. I even suggested to my brother that I should touch them and see what happens. He said, "No! What if your hands rot off?" They kept talking to each other, and no sound was audible. Eventually, my brother and I decided to go to sleep because nothing was happening, and we were not scared at all, which, you know, that strikes me as quite strange. Why wouldn't two kids be scared of an encounter like that? Two faceless black void creatures casually standing in their hallway? Very, very odd. Has any one of you ever had an encounter like that one? Or knows anything about it? I wouldn't say it was shadow people. The encounter was too coherent and calm for that. So, I don't know about the black void part, but this kind of sounds like a residual haunting to me. The fact that they weren't reacting to you at all and just seemed like they were playing out a scene from the past, all of it just sounds like that kind of haunting. I don't think I've ever heard of the people looking how you saw them, but that doesn't mean they can't. What about you guys? Have you ever seen a spirit like this? Do you even think it could be residual or something else? Well, guys, we just have one more for today. This one is called Weird Interaction with a Customer Yesterday. So, I had a customer ask me yesterday if I have ever had anything paranormal happen to me before. I would be so happy to have a customer ask me something like that randomly. I would stop doing my job completely to talk to them about the paranormal. And I said, not really, but that I do believe that type of stuff likely exists. Like, I've watched and listened to it all over the years, and it all interests me, but nothing has ever happened to me personally. Well, she proceeded to tell me she wasn't trying to scare me, but wanted to let me know that she had seen something she had never seen before standing behind me through the reflection in a big mirror we have at my job. She said it was just for a second, but that it was a tall, black hooded figure with a very pale white face and a big grin, and that it was standing behind me as I was standing at a computer working. Like, what the fuck? It really creeped me out, obviously. Of course, that would have creeped you out. I think it would have creeped anyone out, even if they didn't believe in the paranormal. That's such a freaky thing to have someone tell you they see behind you. And I don't remember feeling anything or seeing anything myself. She emphasized on having never seen an entity like that before. I asked, does she do this stuff normally? She said, yes, all the time. So that's why she wanted to let me know about it. As she said, she normally wouldn't just go up to a stranger and tell them something like this. Am I weird for wanting something like this to happen to me? I get I can see things myself, but I think it would be cool to be on the other side. Her and the ladies she was with were super nice, normal seeming people. She told me that if I have any mirrors in my room, to get rid of them and consider getting a cleanse of some sort. I don't know what to think. I tend to be a very trusting person and sometimes kind of gullible, I've been told. So I'm just wanting some feedback on this from some unbiased outside perspectives. Have any of you ever had anything like this happen before? Or has anyone ever heard or know anything about this particular entity? I already tried Googling it and couldn't find anything. Closest hit I got was the Hat Man, and this was definitely not that, from what she described. Do people just make stuff like this up to scare people? I know it's a possibility, but she seems genuine, and I can't think of any reason why someone would do that to a complete stranger. Thanks in advance for the feedback. Listen, I do believe people can do that stuff just to mess with people and get off on that kind of shit, but I don't get the feeling that's what this was. If all they wanted to do was scare you, they would probably not bother giving you advice on how to possibly get rid of the thing. they would have just kept pushing how scary and bad it was. At least, that's what I believe. I do kind of wonder if this might be a watcher spirit or a monitoring spirit. I don't really know much about them, but for some reason, that's what I get from this. Whatever it is, it does seem like it's following you through mirrors, which is probably why she told you to get rid of the mirrors in your room. Maybe it's not a watcher spirit, but something that is feeding on your energy. It definitely would be a good idea to cleanse and try to clear the negative energy that seems to be attached to you, just to be safe. Well, guys, that's all I got for today. I really hope you're enjoying these. If you're liking the podcast, please leave a review and rate the show. Like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And if you would like to share your story with the Coven, send me an email. But for now, the Coven is adjourned. See you next time. Bye.